Connecticut's news station, daughters distraught after their mother is stabbed to death by her boyfriend.
She was a mother, she was a grandmother, she was a friend. Everybody loved her.
And campus chaos. New tonight, more charged for vandalism after UConn's championship win.
Another seasonable day tomorrow, but it won't last. We are talking about a warming trend and another impressive one coming up.
And back on the tarmac, but some are still delayed at Bradley Airport. What caused Southwest to halt takeoff today?
Plus, talking taxes, tips for last-minute filing to meet the midnight deadline.
Now at 6, this is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us here on the news at 6. I'm Ben Goldman.
And I'm Samaya Hernandez. Tonight in a story you'll only see on Fox 61. As an accused murderer sits in a jail cell, a family sits around a kitchen table for the first time without their mother.
Fox 61's Matt Caron bringing us this exclusive emotional follow-up to one of the most heinous and bizarre crimes in recent Connecticut history. Matt.
That's right. The family of Nilda Rivera told me they always had a strange feeling around their mother's boyfriend, but they never thought he was capable of murder.
My mom was just looking for love.
Love that 57-year-old former certified nurse's assistant Nilda Rivera invested in faith and family.
She was a mother, she was a grandmother, she was a friend.
We sat down with daughters Daniela and Jaitza, still processing their grief. Around the family kitchen table in New Britain.
Everywhere you look, it's her.
The color red, apples, homemade Spanish food, and happy memories of a recent birthday.
She was so happy.
We was all together.
Happiness replaced now by confusion, anger.
I hope that they do to him what he did to my mother.
10 times worse and suffer.
He suffers slowly.
Nilda Rivera stabbed 25 times in Hartford Sunday, allegedly by this man, Pedro Grajales, arraigned Monday, charged with her murder.
He was like very jealous. He would look in her phone and delete stuff.
Grajales and Rivera in an on-again, off-again relationship. They met on social media.
He cried at me, talking about he'll never hurt my mother.
And that's exactly what he did.
Grajales, according to arrest warrants, watched as she gasped for air before driving Nilda's body to Hartford police to confess his crime, telling officers he was planning to murder her for several days.
I wake up every day just hoping it is a dream, a nightmare.
Now, without a mom, trying to make sense of the senseless.
Worst chapter of my life.
And pick up the pieces of a broken heart.
I love you forever and a day, and always will.
And Daniela and Jaitza told me they're planning a vigil for their mother right here at the Hartford Police Headquarters at Thursday at 6 p.m. They've also started a GoFundMe page to try and ease the burden of funeral expenses. You can find that link on our website, fox61.com. We're live at Hartford Police Headquarters. Matt Caron, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
An incredibly tough story, Matt. Thank you. We are following breaking news out of Lower Manhattan this evening. Officials saying that one person is dead, 5 other people injured in a parking garage collapse here. Look at this. All of this next to Pace University building, which has been evacuated. Firefighters have now been pulled out of the building due to concerns over its structural stability. Quite a scene here in Lower Manhattan. We'll keep you updated as we learn more out of New York City.
Wow, yeah, and breaking news out of Maine, where police are saying a pair of crimes are connected. Police saying 4 people were found fatally shot in a home in Bowdoin, and a short time later, others were shot and injured on a busy highway 25 miles away in Yarmouth. Police have taken one person into custody, but have not released their identity or a motive. And also breaking news tonight, Fox reaches a last-minute settlement with Dominion Voting Systems. The company accused Fox of harming them, claiming Fox pushed conspiracies about the voting machine company in the aftermath of the 2020 presidential election. The settlement, just as the trial was about to begin this afternoon, Dominion had sought $1.6 billion in damages, but they settled $787.5 million.
It has been 3 days since a Groton teen was found unresponsive in a New London home, later pronounced dead at the hospital. 2 others were also injured, but the neighbors near Jefferson Avenue and Buchanan Road now want answers, and many aren't getting any. Fox 61's Julia LeBlanc joining us now live from the police department this evening with more. Julia.
Hi, good evening to you. It's been 3 days since 17-year-old Denasia Uzzle was pronounced dead right around 3 a.m. on Saturday. And still today, the medical examiner says that her cause of death is unknown. Now, we have spoke to people in the community. They want answers, but right now they're really just trying to show support for her family.
It could happen to any one of us in London.
Heaven Akers and her friends, who didn't want to show their faces on camera, are grieving with their community.
She shouldn't have died at that age.
They're here for 17-year-old Denasia Uzzle, who was taken from them early Saturday morning. A memorial in her honor is only growing on the corner of Jefferson Ave and Buchanan Road.
Just respect her and show her and her family that we do care.
The girls and hundreds of others are sporting pink in memory of Uzzle, lovingly known as Nay. Those closest to her say it was her favorite color. The candles filled with messages calling for justice for Nay.
She was always so nice, and I feel like you're going to reap what you sow. So that's why I wore pink, because if that happened to me, I would want somebody to do that for me.
On Saturday, just after 3 a.m., police responded to a home in this neighborhood for reports of an unresponsive person. They found Uzzle, who was rushed to the hospital and was pronounced dead there. Police are not sharing how she died, but they have identified 2 others who were at the same home as Uzzle and were also sent to the hospital with minor stab wounds. The 2 have been identified as 40-year-old Erica Cherry and 19-year-old Nishan Cherry, both from New London. Police are not revealing their connection to Uzzle or her death, but Fox 61 did dig into Erica Cherry's past. In the last 10 years, she has been convicted of possession of narcotics, operating a car under the influence, and breach of peace. But other details are still limited, and neighbors want answers, but more importantly, they want to show support for the family.
You're not alone. We're all going to be here to support everybody, and we're going to be here to keep her alive, her name alive.
Now, Uzzle was a senior at New London High School. The principal has sent out a statement saying that this support from the community is testimony to the person he says Nay was. Now, in the meantime, he says that she will always be remembered as a student, excited for the future and preparing for graduation. Now, the district has offered to support and counseling for students and staff who need it. We're live here in New London tonight. Julia LeBlanc, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Thank you, Julia. And new tonight, 2 more UConn students have been arrested in connection with the vandalism on the store's campus following the men's basketball championship game. Justin Tatspaw is accused of hitting a UConn police car with a pole, causing more than $2,500 damage. And Jose Oliveira Suarez is accused of helping a group of people fly a UConn-owned van. Police say the investigation is ongoing, and they do expect to make more arrests. And in Simsbury, a man is facing charges in connection to last month's street takeover. This is police dash cam video from that night. Tyler Bingham turned himself in yesterday. He's accused of being involved in a grouping of more than 200 cars in town. Police say they attempted to pull Bingham over during the incident, but he failed to stop and began swerving and revving the engine before driving off. Officials are still investigating and are working to identify more drivers that were involved.
The town of Tolland withdrawing its notice of suspension for Electric Blue Cafe amid an investigation into allegations of prostitution at the club. All of this comes after the town officials suspended the club's business license last month. The next day, a representative of the club went to the town to appeal the suspension under the town code. The appeal allowed the business to remain open. Electric Blue is still under federal criminal investigation.
Well, turning now to the weather, another cool and nice day across the state. You're taking a live look out at the capital city right now. and Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank joining us now. Rachel, how do you feel about this cooler weather?
I like it. I think it's refreshing, and especially after last week's heat. If you're not a fan, we're going to get back to some summer warmth by the end of this week. But for now, we're kind of settling back in to the time of year. We started the day off with sunshine, then the clouds rolled in, and now we're seeing some breaks in the overcast and a little bit of blue out there. Today's high actually a little bit below average for this time of year, 50 or high temperature below average for this time of year, 55 degrees. We're in the upper 50s though for the New Haven area, and we'll have similar temperatures outside tomorrow before that warm up gets underway. But we got to talk about that wind adding an extra bite to the air. We've got gusts up to 20, 30 miles per hour out there. The wind will come down tonight, but I still think it's a breezy day heading into tomorrow, although probably not quite as feisty as today. Taking a look overnight tonight, we will see temperatures falling back into the 40s initially, but even 30s to around 40 as we head towards daybreak tomorrow. Here's a look at those low temperatures: 36 in Waterbury, 39 in the Hartford area, and near 40 at the shoreline. Even some patchy frost possible for some inland spots as we head towards daybreak tomorrow. Temperatures will recover though between 55 to near 60 in the afternoon. A mix of sun and clouds, although a brighter day overall. And again, temperatures near average. Then we're going to talk about that warm up. We're also talking about a widespread soaking rain over the weekend. We're going to time it out for you.
See you in a bit, Rachel. Thank you. New tonight, state lawmakers introducing their budget proposal for the next 2 years, spending $400 million more than what the governor proposed back in February.
Yeah, Fox 61 political reporter Emma Wolfhorse has been following this budget process and joins us now in studio with an update. Hi, Emma.
Hi, Samaya. Ben, lawmakers on the legislature's Appropriations Committee are still discussing their budget proposal right now. That meeting started at 10 o'clock this morning. They're going section by section and asking questions about various details and allotments. This is just the beginning of the legislature's response to the governor's budget proposal 2 months ago. And as lawmakers pointed out today, it's still a work in progress.
Every decision we make affects 3.6 million people in the state of Connecticut.
Tuesday morning, the legislature's Appropriations Committee unveiled their nearly $51 billion two-year budget proposal.
Everybody participated in this budget. There is nobody's fingerprints that is not here.
This budget proposes around $25 billion for the 2024 fiscal year, which starts in July, and $25.8 billion for the 2025 fiscal year, about $400 million in additional spending over what the governor proposed.
Where we begin to define the process of spending the people's money, right? It's not my money or your money, it's all of our collective tax dollars at work.
This budget focuses on funding Medicaid, health care, and education, providing more money for educational finance reform and new charter schools, as well as $3 million to expand Husky Medicaid coverage for children up to 15 years old, regardless of immigration status.
Does it have more needs? Yes. There's no question about it. If anybody said no, I would be amazed.
But some advocates and lawmakers are upset about what is left out. Notably, this budget doesn't allocate any funding for free school lunches, something the School Meals for All CT Coalition says is shocking. Adding this budget proposal makes no sense. There's also an outcry from nonprofits. Nonprofit social services receiving only a 1% increase in funding, which the CT Community Nonprofit Alliance calls beyond disappointing and defies understanding.
Our nonprofits do essentially God's work. We are more than happy to revisit this.
And Governor Lamont also putting out a response to this budget today, saying he appreciates the Appropriation Committee's hard work and is reviewing the details of the legislature's spending plan. Looking forward to meeting with them to discuss their proposals. Lawmakers note, as I said, this is still a work in progress, and the legislature's Finance Committee is expected to release a tax cut plan tomorrow. Samaya, Ben.